Welcome to Off Deadline. I'm Melissa Dijon-Filippo. My guest today is Emmy award-winning journalist Yetta Gibson. With 25 years of news and entertainment reporting experience, spanning all major networks, NBC, CBS, Fox, and ABC. An Atlanta native, she began her career in the 90s as a college intern and radio news reporter at one of Atlanta's premier stations inside the CNN Center, where she gained national exposure on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. Her coast-to-coast career has developed her versatility as a high-energy personality and anchor on Arizona's Family. Currently hosting Arizona's Family Original, she's passionate about storytelling and making what she calls that comfortable connection with viewers. She's a proud Valley resident and mother of 2 daughters.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yetta, so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Isn't it fun sharing stories?
It is.
It's my favorite thing to do.
I love learning from other people's stories, and so I think... I hope everyone else does too.
Yes,
That's why we do this, right?
Well, I hope so here because I've got lots of stories to tell. I've been doing a lot for a long time.
Yes, you have. Actually, I've been doing PR for 20 years, and one of my first memories on a TV broadcast shoot was with you.
No way. What was it?
We had a client called Paramount Promotions, and they did those giant Tostitos inflatables for the Fiesta Bowl.
Yes.
This is like a long time ago.
Did they do the pictures you know that's still in my garage?
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? The big printout?
Yeah.
I have to send you a picture of it.
Oh my God, I have to see it.
It's still in my garage because everywhere I moved since then, I kept that. So it's like this old life-size cutout of me. It's in my garage. So when people come, like sometimes when the workers come or the lawn people, they open the garage and you're like, oh my gosh.
Whoa, that's a lot.
I still have that.
That is so cool.
Well, I remember that.
It's so cool to be interviewing someone who I got to work with very early in my career. So I just really
Hopefully
appreciate
it was a good experience.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I've always had a great experience with you.
Oh,
Thank
you. And you've been great too.
Thank you.
You know your stuff, girl.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, we're going to jump right in.
Yes,
Okay.
let's do it.
We're going deep today.
Oh.
So, Yetta, I want to know first, why did you choose journalism and how did you even get your start?
Yes. I chose journalism. I was in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. At that particular time, I wanted to be a dentist. We had career day at our school, and the local main TV woman came to our classroom and did basically what we're doing here, explaining how the career goes. And I don't know what it was in her speech and her talking to this 6th grade class, but I changed what I wanted to be right then and there. And her name is Monica Kaufman.
Oh, I love that you still remember her name.
I remember her name is Monica Kaufman. She worked for one of the big stations out there, WSB Channel 2. And from that point forward, I knew I wanted to do what she did, mainly because she was talking about how you learn while you're doing your job. You never ever stop the learning process, because every single day when you talk to people, you learn something new. And I go, oh, I want to do that. So that's how that happened.
Oh, I love that. And I love that thirst for learning.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone has that naturally.
Right.
And it's
I mean, you never stop. You don't get out of elementary, middle, high, college, and get into adult life. You never stop learning. Every single day, there is something that I find out through talking to people.
Yeah, that's great. I want to know, which subject or interview has stayed with you the most powerfully throughout your career and why?
Stay with me in what way?
Yeah, just, what has impacted you? What keeps you up at night in a good or maybe a bad way? Is there a subject or a source or a moment where you'll never forget it?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I can tell you, I think about pretty much every day, especially in this climate, when everything will settle back down. and it has nothing to do with politics per se. It has everything to do with people's mindsets and opening up to different viewpoints and different opinions. And when can we be friendlier about that? Because right now there does not seem to be an end in sight when it comes to that. Everything's a battle. So it's hard to pinpoint one thing, because I think everything is under scrutiny now. It's hard to say anything. It's hard to have an opinion. It's hard to react. So I think about, on a constant basis, is when are we going to see that tide change? When is the moment going to happen when, okay, things are going to start going this way and we can get along better?
Yeah.
You know, disagreements are going to happen. Different opinions happen. That's life. But when are we going to be okay with that?
Yeah.
I think about that a lot.
And you said something that I just am curious about. Like, it's really hard, I imagine, in your profession to have an opinion ever.
Yeah, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have one.
Yeah. But you will never, but you can't ever publicly share it.
And for me, it's not important because, you know, as I said, it doesn't matter what I think, right? And that's not my job. My job is to give you the facts. You can disagree with the facts that I give, and that's the part of it. You know, sometimes news people are under scrutiny just because they're talking about the news, you know, and no matter what, you know, we get kind of attacked because people feel like they can figure out what your side is based on the news you're reading. Sometimes it's just arbitrary. You know, sometimes you read this, sometimes I read that. It has nothing to do with me. So I don't find it hard to not share my opinion because it's not my job. My job is to give you what you need to know and do with that as you will.
Yeah.
So it's what's hard is people assuming they know what your opinion is, and then they start
judging, assuming. Yeah.
Right. That's the hard part.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. I mean, I do a little bit understand. I think as a business owner, it's hard to publicly have an opinion sometimes too, and I choose not to.
Yeah. Do you feel like you want to have an opinion?
I do. Well, I do, but I don't want to. I don't need to publicly share anything because I don't want to turn off 50% of people, and no matter what it is.
Right.
You know?
Right. And then for your job and my job alike, you know, yeah, you have an opinion about it, but it's in the spirit of business and what you're doing. I don't feel like I have to say what I feel.
It's not part of the job.
Unless it's something crazy. I mean, we did a story yesterday about Pop-Tart ice cream.
Okay, tell me more.
I had a lot to say
that
about
one.
like ice cream sandwiches with a Pop-Tart and a Pop-Tart. Now, I'll talk about that, but I'm not going to talk about the big stuff. I'm not going to talk about anything that's going to get two sides riled up. No, I'll give you the facts, and that's pretty much all I'm going to do.
Yeah, and that's a great
And I'm
journalist.
okay with that.
Yeah, of course. What has been your greatest test of journalistic resolve, and what ultimately kept you in the profession despite that? Why are you still doing this?
Ooh, you know, I consider myself a journalist on one hand, where I can tell you all the things that are going on in the world and your community. I can do that every day because I like to do that. And I like to know what's going on as well. So as I'm telling you, I'm learning too, right? But on the other side of that, I'm a human to human connector, right? That's what I consider myself. I mean, that sounds kind of like, whoa, what do you mean? It's just, you know, I feel like I can connect with anyone. So I think some of the challenges have been people who come in with whatever their energies are, right? And no matter what the energy is, no matter what the attitude is, no matter what the feelings are before we start an interview. I mean, some people can come in and they can be very closed off. I had a person I interviewed, a lot of people know who this person is. And I was sitting there while everything was being set up, and I was just doing the small talk. You know, you do the small talk.
Of course.
And this person goes, I don't do small talk.
That rapport, not building rapport before an interview. Ooh.
Right. And this is before the interview starts, before the cameras are rolling. And I go, oh, you know, I just trying to see where your head is, and just trying to know like what you do today, what time did you fly in? I don't do small talk. When the cameras roll, then we'll talk. So by the end of that interview, that was 35, 40 minutes later, he said, I'm so happy I did this. I'm sorry I was grumpy. You know, and so I guess to answer your question is, it's not necessarily a challenge. It's just that I feel like I can always connect with people, no matter what's happening, no matter what the situation is. I can always get them to come here and we can talk at a very level and equal playing field and get the information out to people and maybe learn a little something no matter what. So it feels like a challenge when it presents itself, when people aren't really open or blocked off or walled off or riled up about one side or another. But at the end of the day, by the time we're done talking, we get there.
That's such a gift.
Yeah, it is a gift.
Yeah.
It's not something everybody can do. I mean, I remember in my early days when we would go to scenes where something horrible had happened. And, you know, that's a tough situation to go into when somebody has just lost someone. And, you know, as a general assignment reporter, it's your job to go talk to those people. Now, I that was never my favorite thing to do.
I can't even imagine. I mean, that's like that.
Yeah.
But how do you do that?
Yeah, it's never your favorite thing to do. And, you know, I'm out of that space now, but that's kind of how I got the know-how to, and I also worked in Vegas. I worked on the Las Vegas Strip, right?
Oh, the things you must have seen.
So no matter what my subject matter was, I was on the Strip. And so the people on the Strip, you know, they're in a different place than I am. I'm talking about something serious that day. So in any situation, I feel like you can always connect with somebody, you know, and I don't know, to answer your question, to go to somebody's house who's just lost a child or who has experienced something horrible, like a break-in at their house, and you go talk to them, it's difficult. But I've always had a knack for bringing out what needs to be brought out for the story, for getting the information out, no matter what the temperature is of the person in the situation. So I consider that something that I've figured out. I think it's a bit natural. I think you have to have a knack for doing that. And, you know, some things need to be handled with so much more care than just, I need this. So you put a mic in front of somebody's face. For me, it's more than that. It's about figuring out where that person is and meeting them there. So that is something I'm proud of that I've been doing for so long. And, you know, no matter what, I like to hear from people. I like to hear their side, and I like to figure out how we can make what's going on in the background a little bit less while sometimes it's therapeutic for people.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And I think if you chose in any of those tough moments to like depart from this career, you wouldn't be sharing that gift. And like what you do is so, I don't think people understand. Like you got to do the light stuff. I've seen you do it, but you also do the real the real tough stuff, and the world needs to know, and those stories have to be shared. And like, so to keep in that profession that like, maybe some days you wake up and you're like, I don't want to do this today.
Right.
I mean,
and sometimes you're having a bad day, right? And I do think that it is something that is needed in the world right now. Somebody who can go, oh my gosh, this is tough, I know, but talk to me about what this is. Talk to me about how people can be helped from your situation. What do you want people to know? What do you want to say so you can get it off? Like, I love doing that, and that's kind of my gift to this industry, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, it is for sure your gift.
Thank you.
Yes. What reporting experience brought you the most pure joy or satisfaction in your career so far? Is there a moment?
Oh, a moment. I'm a nerd when it comes to talking to people and hearing their stories. That's why we developed the show that I have now.
Yeah.
Because we hear all the headlines, you know, everything that's going on, whether you know the nitty-gritty details or not, you pretty much have an idea of what's going on out there. But behind the story, the backstory, is what I think a lot of people want to know about. That's why we're here today.
Yeah.
People want to know, you know, how the sausage is made.
The behind the scenes.
The behind the scenes stuff. How did you really feel? You know, I think about these big moments like, let's just say that space launch, for example.
Oh gosh, right?
We know what's going on. We know that they're going to go up there. But behind the scenes, how do they really feel? Not just scared, because we've heard that too. But when you got the phone call, where were you? What did they say when you answered the phone call to do this? What did you think? What's the first thing you thought? So I think that when I come out of these interviews and people feel like, I feel so much better after I talk to you, or it felt good to get that out, or I feel like I'm helping people now, that is kind of constant for me.
Yeah.
Like that can happen tomorrow. It happened 10 years ago. I couldn't pinpoint it right off the top of my head, but it'll come up. Yeah. But I feel like that's a constant thing. You come off of an interview and they feel good.
Yeah, and you feel like you really did something that's going to like propel someone or tell an important story, or that must feel like...
It feels so good. I can't even really describe it. But, you know, for the people who receive it and for the people you're gleaning it from too, you know, sometimes they're like, that was a really good interview. And it's not necessarily a compliment to me. It's because they feel like they put something out there that's good, that they wouldn't have thought was shareable. You know, they wouldn't have thought was something that mattered. And when they talk to me and they go, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got that out. And then on the other side, the viewer, the listener, what have you, is like, that was really good because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And maybe like helping disarm that person when they're uncomfortable, because you do this every day. So you can like turn it on, I'm sure, and be ready. And someone who's new and interviewing, but it's an important topic,
Right.
could be so nervous.
Right.
And if you have the ability to just be like, hey, it's cool,
Right.
without making them feel like less than or
Right.
inexperienced.
Right.
And that's a really important skill.
Yeah, and kudos to the people who do sit down with me and they go, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I have a little trick that I do, and I shouldn't even say it on here.
Gotta tell us. This is behind the scenes.
When I can feel that somebody's nervous, even though I go, oh no, it'll be a big deal. But at the end of the day, there's a microphone in somebody's face. It's fine for us.
Yeah.
But that's not normal.
No.
This is not normal, right?
Yeah.
That's not normal.
No.
All these
No.
cameras
Yes.
and lights. So I get that, right? So one of the little tricks that I do is I have a little look, right? I look to my camera, I'll look at my camera like that. That guy knows to record. This person, I'll say, let's just go through it.
So smart. You're a genius.
Let's just go through it real quick before we start. And I'll ask them all the questions, and they'll go, so that was good. Okay, you ready? Okay, we're done. And they go, no. I go, no, we did it.
It's great. Yeah.
We did it. So disarming is such a good word. Thank you for that word, because that's what I feel like is my thing.
Yeah.
You know, and when I say disarm, it's not a strategy, it's not anything. It's making people comfortable.
It's a skill set that is critical. And
so you can steal that if you want.
I love it. I'm going to. I'm totally going to. Although I don't think my interview subjects will be quite as nervous.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. All of this
makes people nervous.
Is intimidating.
Yeah. No,
and it's not comfortable to talk. I mean, this is not normal.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So to get people to forget this is here, or forget that they're in a setting where cameras are on them and they can really share, that's a gift.
This is not a planned question, but I have to ask: have you ever gotten nervous? Because, how have you stepped out of that? You know, for me, I've lived my whole life being like, if it makes me nervous, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Except for skydiving. I'm never doing that.
No, neither am I.
But like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a PR person. I'm usually behind the scenes, but I love this kind of stuff. But is it like super comfortable? No, but that's like, okay, I got to do it. So how have you stepped out of that for yourself?
I don't think you step out of it. I think you move through it. You know, I mean, I'm trying to figure out all the different ways that I've been nervous, because I definitely get nervous. Okay, let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I just think that whether it's you, the person on the other side of my interview, or vice versa, because you're such a big deal, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who's this?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're people, and we're all the same. And I don't know, there's something that I do is not conscious. It's just something that goes, they're a person. They woke up this morning just like I did. They had to get coffee just like I did. And I do that, again, there's no method to it, but it becomes real human when I sit in front of people. You know, let's just say Oprah walks in the door right now. Would you die?
Oh, I mean,
I would die.
Yes.
There'd be two dead people right now, right? So she walks in, and I'll do all of my gymnastics internally. But when she sits down, she's the same person as you. She's the same person as me. And it might take me a minute to adjust, right? But something happens, right? Something happens when it's time to talk. And it's because of the reason why I'm doing this is pure. It's not for any like starstruck, to be cool, to take a selfie, to be on the gram. It's because I want to know what's your story, and I want to hear it, because I want to be inspired by people, and I want people out there who are watching to be inspired. So it doesn't, yes, I get nervous, but at the end of the day, I want to speak to you as a human, and I want to find out your human experience, because everybody's experience is great.
Yeah, I love that trick, just like of thinking they're human too. They got up, they got out of bed, they took a shower, got coffee. That's such a great, easy thing to remember.
Right.
To take down the nerves.
I interviewed Shetty
a
couple weeks ago. Now, don't get me wrong, he was on satellite.
Yeah, okay, but still,
he gave us 30 minutes. That's a big deal. When you do satellites, your producer's supposed to talk to that person first and go, okay, Yetta's out there, and you know, you're going to talk to her for 30 minutes and blah, blah, blah. Are you ready? Let's see if you could. And so he tuned in, and my producer goes in my ear and goes, I can't say hi. I'm freaked out. I can't do it.
Wow.
Could you say hi? Could you talk to him? And I go, you know, when I'm on camera, right? Even though it's not recording yet, but he can hear me, so I can't go, what do you mean? So I go, oh, okay. I said, oh my gosh, you're crazy. And I go, hi, Shetty. How are you? Good. I said, could you do me a favor? And it's all, and at this point, I'm checking the temperature for myself too, right? And he goes, sure. And I go, my producer, who loves you just as much as I do, is afraid to say hello.
I love that you just called him or her out right there.
No, it was rough because I was like, oh, Amanda, I know I'm calling you out. And he goes, what? I go, yes, she was supposed to check in with you first before I said hi, and she's listening. Would you please say hi to her? He goes, absolutely, Amanda. And he had this long conversation, took away from my 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But you have
what a gift.
You let that happen,
Yeah.
right? And by the end of that interview, when we finally got to it, Amanda went in his ear. I didn't hear her because I can't hear what's going on. And he goes, oh, Amanda, I love you too. I love you too. And I go, whoa.
Wow.
What happened? Something changed.
Thank you for that. Can you share an instance where you witnessed something in the field that might have been difficult to process emotionally?
Oh gosh, yes. I've had the same answer to this question for 100 years. So before I started doing the nightly news as an anchor and doing this show, I was a field reporter. You know, I covered all the things. And there was a week, I'll never, ever, ever forget this. There was a week where every single day, Monday through Friday, I covered a baby that had drowned.
Oh, God.
And it was all different circumstances, but every day for me, it just happened to be that way for me. And that's an awful situation in and of itself. Not just for the family, but a baby, when you're a mom, you see that. And the firefighters and just what they have to go through, And that's the thing, I'm not one of those reporters like, okay, boom, 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 boom. It's like, I'm feeling for everybody, right? So I was kind of a different reporter. Well, yeah, and to have to grab all of this information that's terrible and package it up into something that pops into a newscast, that's always been hard for me because it's like, poor first responder, poor family, this is their whole life now. Their whole life happens after this. And then the visual of that. I mean, don't get me wrong, we didn't see those things.
But in your head you're seeing it.
Right. And you become desensitized in a way to it, or it feels like you are. But that week, and I believe it was a Friday, I'll never forget. I'll never forget this. I woke, that was my dream. My dream was that happened. It wasn't a child that I knew. It was just, I was dreaming about a baby drowning. And it made me realize that gets into your psyche, that affects you. All of this stuff that you're covering as a journalist from day to day, whether it's something that extreme or all the other noise, right? All the other bad stuff and all the things. Whether you realize it or not, it's getting in here, it's affecting you, it's just kind of in there. So then it makes you sit back and think, like, what am I doing? Right?
Yeah.
How is this actual job affecting me? Because I'm reporting about a lot of things. I'm on scenes where a lot of people are affected and sad, and I've done my work for the day, right? So I think that, and I'm not a big dreamer. I mean, if I have a dream, it's a big deal, right? And that particular time, because of all of those different stories, I was dreaming about that, which made me realize how deeply this job affects you, just as a person, and how it just kind of sits in there and you don't realize it.
Yeah, you can't just turn it off.
You can't turn it off. Well, I think as reporters and beat people on the beat doing the stories, we've done stories about first responders, it's kind of the same thing. They're out fighting fires, they're out, handling criminals and doing all this stuff, and that's their job every day, but that's very affecting. I mean, these first responders have to really seek therapy so that they can take care of themselves. And it's not the same level, but for journalists who are constantly talking about this and constantly talking about, news is generally bad.
Yeah.
And if we're think about it, you're spending 6 hours a day talking about all the bad stuff happening in the world. Newscast after newscast after newscast. So I think that for me, the discovery that you're asking about is, I do realize it's affecting me as well. And I just have to figure out how to balance it out.
Yeah, and I imagine you've had to really come up with some of your own mental health hacks and
figure
strategies.
Out how to just erase it, or just kind of settle it, reconcile it, or something. I don't know. I don't have a formula, but I do recognize when things have gotten to be too much.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. That is got to be the part of your job that any reporter's job, any kind of reporter, that I imagine, I can't imagine.
Yeah, right.
You know, I can turn it off.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I don't have to watch it.
And generally, your stuff is
Positive,
positive,
uplifting.
right?
Yeah.
And you know, for anybody, a news person who is a community servant, in my opinion, you're helping the community learn, you know, what's going on, and we love doing that. You know, this is your source right here, but we have to take care of ourselves too, and there are different ways we can do that. I mean, there's ways I can quiet my mind out. I mean, thank goodness. I mean, I don't live very far from stations. Every time I go to different cities, I live pretty close always. It's never more than 10 minutes, but I use that time in the car. Sometimes I'm like, okay, good, there's traffic, so that I can have a moment where
decompress,
it's like nothingness, right? And that's helpful for me. But when it's too much, you just take your days.
Yeah, you just gotta go. You just gotta take a day.
Veg out. Yep.
Yeah, smart. Can you describe a time when you advocated for a story that maybe no one else believed in, and it ultimately proved to be extremely valuable?
Yes. That happened in Vegas. I kept getting this phone call from this man. I'll never forget. I was at my desk and I kept getting this phone call from this man, and I would answer the phone. And this was, you know, early 2000s. And he goes, "You should do a story on me." I go, "Who's this?" "Who is this?" And he told me his name, and he told me he was a kingpin, basically.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, "I served 10 years. I am the head chef at one of these big casinos in town, but I was a kingpin." He goes, goes, "I used to come here to Vegas when I was selling drugs, before I went to prison, and I was a high roller. And because I had all this drug money." He's telling me the story, and I'm going, "What?"
Like, are you on drugs right now? Probably,
right.
I imagine you're thinking.
And he goes, "So I served 10 years, and I came back to the hotel where I was a high roller, and they gave me a job as the head chef." And I go, "BS. Send me your mugshot. Send me your prison shot." And he goes, and I said, "Send me a press release," right? That's your job.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, what's that?" I go, "Send me a folder with all of this information, proving that you were in prison, proving that you are the head chef, whatever." And somehow, and he goes, "I don't know how to do that." I go, "You got to, that's the only way I can touch it." So long story short, he did. He sent it to me, and I'm looking through this like, oh my God, what? So I go to my people, and I go, "Here's what happened." And I explain exactly what I just did to you. And I said, "He just sent me this, and I think we should do a story." Now, that story that I pitched was called a special project story. That's not a story you just kind of turn.
No.
You spend time with this person and you get the story. It's called a special project story. They usually give you 3 or 4 days for that.
Wow.
And they said, if we agree to doing this story, you're going to have 1 day. And I go, "Come on." And I took the day, and I spent sun up to sundown with this guy, and it was a real story. I won. That was my first Emmy that I won.
Congratulations.
That was the first Emmy that I won. I didn't have the time that most people have in those special project stories, but this guy went on to be huge. His name is Chef Jeff Henderson. Jeff Henderson.
Gotta look him up.
Yes, I was the first person that did his story. Since then, Will Smith has bought the rights to his story. He was on Oprah. He's had multiple shows on the Food Network. He's an author now. He took that because he was kind of a hustler, which I admired about him.
Yeah.
You know, forget the drug dealer stuff. He was a hustler after he went through the 10 years in prison. He came out. So he used my story to kind of launch himself into these big spaces. And he's still doing good. He's still in Vegas. But that was a story where I pushed and pushed and pushed. I needed 3 days. I needed 4 days. And they were like, no, it was just a no. But that was the first award I got. It's called Jeffrey's Recipe. You have to name the story when you submit it for Emmys. And my first Emmy, it's broken now because when I moved, I still need to get a replacement. But that Emmy was for feature reporting on Jeffrey's Recipe.
I love that because you're probably the reason he's had all this other press. Like, he needed someone to believe in and take the chance on the story.
Right. And the way, I mean, I believe that. I'm not the reason. I mean, the story is great.
Of course, yeah.
But I know what you mean. But it goes back to what I was saying. It's like everything works together, right? And the reason why I wanted to do his story is because, like, holy shit, first of all. And then when he told me, what I gleaned from that for myself, and other people got all the other stuff, right? But I mean, he was a terror in prison. He was sent to the kitchen because he was awful, bad behavior, and that's how he learned how to cook. So it's kind of like the story, just kind of, you see how his life unfolded, and you see how obstacles can work for you. And the hustle, I will never stop admiring his hustle. Like how he built himself back up after that is crazy. Wow. So yeah, I helped him in whatever way I could. I always told him, if that movie's done, you make sure whoever plays me
yep is good. You gotta like pick, cute. Right?
It was like I pick Halle Berry.
That's perfect, honestly. Like totally.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I love it when stuff unfolds like that, or it helps somebody. It helped him. I'm sure he's helping so many people. So it just kind of goes on and on. It's like a domino effect. Of good.
Such a good story.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. What unconventional path or experience in your life has made you a better journalist? Maybe surprised you by making you a better journalist?
Ooh, I got to give props to John Hook.
He's great.
Yeah, I do. I will always and forever give props to him, and here's why. When I moved here from Vegas, I worked there. This is the first job over at Fox 10. Yes. And not to give too much shout out to them, but he is a person. Let's just keep it with John. I would come back from my stories and I would have my notepad, and he would go, "Good story tonight," and he would take my notepad and go, "Get rid of it." And I'm like, "No, I can't." Right?
Yeah.
I can't. I'm a facts person. I like to get He goes, "Don't write anything down. You find out what's going on and then you tell us." And he pushed for that so much. And it was so uncomfortable, Melissa, because I felt like I was just out there, right? If I got it wrong, and he goes, "You're not going to get it wrong. If you don't want to get facts wrong, you won't get them wrong." Then when it came to questions, he would never let me tell him what to ask.
Wow.
He would never, he goes, just roll with it. So with that type of training, in my opinion, just kind of learning how to be like, whoa, without any type of crutches, it taught me how to answer questions even if I didn't know the answer to it. Now, I didn't BS, but I was able to figure out strategies in reporting without having, all of this right here. Because what that does for you is it allows you to tell a story where people hear you versus just facts. The police said this. It's like you're telling a story. You're forced to, because you don't have a notepad. You don't have all of this planned stuff. And there was one time, I was new to the Valley. The monsoon is something that I know about now, but my God, when I got here, I was like, what is this? It was raining, torrential downpour.
In July, there's wind.
Or at 8 a.m., right, when they sent us out. By 5, it's like sunny. And so I did the report, showed the rain and the downpour, and then by 5 I go, well, it's not like that now. And he would go, well, it looks like it's going to rain again. And I'm new to town, so I don't know what that means.
Like, you're like, okay.
And I was like, well, no, it doesn't. This is on air. And he goes, have your cameraman pan up to the sky. It looks dark. And so my cameraman is, shh. And he comes back to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
You're like, shoot.
And he goes, what do you think? And I go, no, it doesn't.
It's clear.
No, it's not. Back to you. And he goes, no, one more time. This is all live. And the cameraman, and I'm like, it's like this slow motion moment where he's coming back to me again. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And I think it was that moment like that, or moments like that, because it happened a lot, where it was just, you were put out there. You figure out how to, people feel you, right? Yeah. People understand. And I was wrong. It was going to rain again. But I was
Arizona's crazy with weather.
Right, but I was so nervous about what was happening because it wasn't planned out.
Yeah.
So those moments is what got me to be very nimble about all the things I told you about. I don't do small talk.
Yeah.
I can move around that. If there's craziness happening behind me on a Las Vegas Strip, I know how to handle that. I know how to do all the things and move around so that I'm still gonna tell that story. Nothing's going to make it like kind of break apart, because I think John kind of taught me that.
I love that you gave a shout out to another, well-known anchor on another
Arizona's
station.
Family. Arizona's Family is the best. Let's keep that out there. But no, I mean, I've learned from so many people, and all of this, is about learning. You know, I'm still about it. I'm still about learning. I mean, I was asking you, like, what did you do this for? What is this about? You know, as long as you are learning every day, no matter what your profession is, you're in good shape. And as long as you want to, and as long as you're okay with somebody going, no, that's not the right way to do that. You should do it this way. Everybody has different ways of doing it. Sometimes you can learn from people on how to do things better. Sometimes you'll realize from people that the way that you thought about things is probably not the best way to think about things, but you only do that if you are open to learning.
Yeah.
And for my job, the only reason why I do a decent job is because I am very interested in learning from people. That is the goal every time I sit down.
Yeah.
And I want these people out here to learn as well.
That's why you've had this, you know, long, successful career. That shines through, and I think like that makes you love your job probably every day, even in moments of hard
chaos.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to end with 5 rapid fire questions.
Oh, snap.
So you,
I'm scared.
I just want you to kind of say the first thing that comes to mind, if possible.
No,
okay.
Please let it be PC.
Well, if it's not, it's a podcast. I mean, whatever, you know. Okay, secret weapon to get you through a rough deadline day.
Coffee.
What's your order?
It's a Dunkin' Donuts, just a regular coffee with 6 creams,
Ooh.
6 sugars.
Dang.
I know, so it's basically, you know, milk, add coffee.
I understand that. I like a lot of cream and sugar.
Yes.
One interview subject you're secretly hoping to land.
Ooh, Oprah.
Yeah.
I mean,
If one of us gets her, let's share her.
Yeah,
I want her, and then you can have her.
If you get her,
yes, I'll give her to you
I'll be
too.
your social media person. I'll come in. I'll put your makeup on, whatever. I just need to be around.
Perfect.
But Oprah's the answer for sure.
Great. What's your newsroom nickname, or what should it be?
Okay, poker face.
Love it.
You know, one of the things that is interesting about me, and I thank the Lord above that only my friends know this about me, but
Now everyone's going to know.
no, I don't think they will. But people who know me know when I'm doing this, you know, for the stories that are happening.
Yeah.
Even if it's the most ridiculous, right? But I have to be this, right?
Yeah.
And I'm also just kind of, you know, I'm big on astrology, and I'm a Capricorn, so I generally have just
That, like,
kind of
poker face.
a poker face or RBF. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's like a friendly RBF. I've never seen you have like a real.
So I'm saying all that to say they'll go, oh, there's the face, and I'm like, what? If you were to go do a poll, they go the face.
Wow.
The face,
So it's the face or poker face. Okay,
yes,
good.
yes,
I like
yes,
it.
Yes.
If I weren't a journalist, I'd be.
Ooh, I'd probably be doing something in music.
Like, do you play an instrument? Do you sing? Do you
I would want to do whatever there is to do with music because I love music. It's a connector, right? I'm all about connecting. So if I can't sit down and interview you, we'd be doing some type of music. I mean, I'd sing. I mean, it wouldn't be that great, but I would have to be in the music world.
Yeah. Love it. What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone just starting in journalism today?
Be yourself. Don't have a voice. Don't have an anchor voice. Don't dress in anchor clothes. Be yourself. Put yourself into that world, you know, and I'm saying that because I did it. I had a voice like this when I started, right? And you get so much coaching as you're going through this industry. And you know what the coaching leads you to? Back to talking like this, right?
Yeah.
Back to clothes that make you feel comfortable so that you can be normal and talk like this and not use words that you wouldn't use in real life. So I just found that interesting that when I started off with, you know, this, right?
Yeah, like the haircut, the outfit,
the clothes, and then I would get coached and they go, what, is this your favorite outfit? Do you like, you know, and I go, no, and I tweak that and they go, okay, stop the tape and go, is that how you sound? Would you ever use that word, you know, foot pursuit, or would you say chase?
Pursuit.
And I go, I'd probably say chase. Well, what would you say to your sister? I go, it was a chase. It was a car. Would you say it's a car pursuit? No, I'd say it was a car chase. Well, can you say that on TV next time? Right? And I'm like, oh, so speak normally? Okay,
like a human?
Yeah, but you don't understand. Like that's years of undoing that you're going to have to do if you don't start there first. So start with being normal first, and just I promise you it's better to be pulled up into this temperature of what you need to do than to be completely on the opposite end of the spectrum, talking like this and talking about there was a male subject doing this. Or there was a minor who got caught, and it's like, no, there was a kid. You know, there's a man. You know, there's a woman. There's human remains. Oh, there was a body.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a body.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, that makes it makes you look better. It makes you sound better. It makes the people understand what you're saying,
That's
too.
what I'm saying. And people can relate to it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with those words.
Yeah, no.
I just want to say
No,
it for the record. I mean, you'll still hear it from time to time.
Because they teach you in school, just to be fair, like journalistic style, this is how you do it.
Right.
But it's not always natural.
No, it's not. And you can say, for me, that's kind of where I am as a journalist. If you hear me speaking about something, it's going to be so regular. It's going to be what I would tell you in the bathroom if we saw each other and were doing our hair. Oh, this is what happened outside. I'm never going to say, because I've been coached, I'm never going to explain a story to you that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
right?
Great.
I want to be met, and I want to understand it as a regular person. So.
Well, thank you for sharing the news with us as a regular person and helping us understand it.
Out here. Yes.
It was such a joy to have you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Congratulations. This is great.
Thank you
This
so
is
much,
great.
Yetta.
Yes.